All right, I'll talk about two plays. One is going to be SAPS. The other one is going to be HSDT. Right. So SAP's initial plan was very simple. Right. Um we want a 425 move, stop loss under $4. Now over here, okay. Okay, so first off, SAPS over here was running on a what's that? Was running on oversubscribed private placement. And for those of you guys who don't know, private placement is just another form of offering, but it's to institutions, right? It's not to the public. So it's not a public offering, right? It's more it's a private one. So they call it private placement. And generally speaking, when it comes to the market, okay, private placements are regarded very differently in terms of how the price reacts to it. Right? There's a little bit more of a positive price action flow to it. Okay. So over here, right, I wanted that 425 break. Okay. Now this is some of the key levels that we have on the daily chart. I think it was the weekly. Yeah, but you can see, right? There's a lot of, especially this area over here. Look at this. Right, a lot of rejections and stuff, especially this one over here and stuff. So this 425 is pretty huge. And I'm pretty sure you can see, over here as well, it's somewhat replicated the same thing, right? So when we broke for the 425 over here, all right, okay, look, all right, 425 break over here, price book 425, okay, on this candle. Price book 425 on this candle, right? You don't add over here, you add over here. And your stop loss is going to be under $4, which is per the plan. Now, if I don't say anything, right? If I don't say anything, if I would just want to say 425 with volume for scalp, that means that when the price breaks over 425, your stop loss will be under 425. But this time I did say stop loss under $4, so that this way you guys already know how much is your risk going to be. Now, this wasn't a win trade, right? This was a losing trade, right? When you break out 425, didn't work out, price went down, lost $4. Over here, you get out. All right, you get out over here. Okay, no such thing. Again, no such thing as, oh, if I help, blah, blah, blah. No such thing like that. Right? This current structure broke down, you get out because it doesn't mean that it's going to recover. Okay, there's no guarantees that they was going to do this. All right, I think there was one person this morning, was in HSDT. Okay, did not have a stop loss. All right, was holding on to it. I think this person was inside trading chat. You guys know. Right, so he was in this play, did not have a stop loss, holding on to it, right? And his justification is, oh, I'm hoping for this to return back up because there is good news over here. Now, guys, we have countless of good news on stocks every single day. Okay, but what actually matters is the volume. Okay, it doesn't matter how good of a news you have, right? If let's say there's no volume, right, price is just not gonna go. And you could say stuff like, oh, but this thing had great news. Yeah, it did have great news. That's why it went from $9 and $19. The move has already been done. So even if it doesn't continue, can you really fault it? You can't. Because you tell me it has great news. Yes, it has. It went from 880 to 19. That's not good enough for you? You know what I mean? So having the justification of like being inside the play just because that's good news is just not a good reason to stay in, right? Again, so this one over here is a different case where you can see 880 breakout to scalp right over here, 880, 1880. Okay, now price did seem like it broke through 1880, but this is not a break, all right? This is a wick, so there is no setup over here. There is no play over here at all, right? If you look at the difference between SAPS and this, right? SAPS has a candle close, the body was closing above, right, the 425. But for HSDT, we don't have that. All right, it's a wick. So this is not a breakout. So many people may be rushing to this, right? They're like, oh my god, 1880, let me just the price is above 1880 right now, let me just buy it. And then you're just gonna be caught up with a wick, the price goes all the way down. All right, not worth it. Okay, right? So there's no play over here because we never got the breakout. Now GCTK 1150, right, was a pretty big level to clear. Okay, it was an intraday, I would say, resistance. Now this one over here is it's kind of like one of those plays where you kind of treat VLCN. First off, there's no catalyst over here, right? No reason as to why this is moving. Okay, so same thing as a VLCN during that pre-market run. Let me show you guys an example. Right, so very similar to that VLCN run over here, right? When it had a couple of days ago. Now you see this move only happened because there was news, right? But before that, it was already moving. So what I wanted to replicate over here was a very simple, right, ascending triangle breakout. And this thing did provide some quick moves from $19 to 23. All right, and GCTK, again, no catalyst over here, but this is a micro floater. I would say that the only thing that sets this apart, right, from the ticker on VLCN is that the daily average is pretty high. It's 1.2 million. It's not under 100,000. So maybe that's why the flow wasn't as great. Okay, so what I did over here was that, so now initially speaking, you can see right over here, 1150 price did kind of breach out there a little bit. So one of the things to kind of take note of is that when you take plays like GCTK, I'm not sure if you guys were actually watching the price during the I'm not sure if you guys were watching the price during the uh pre-market session, right? This over here was very bad. The spread wasn't the greatest. So I was saying by spread is that the ask is at maybe $10, the bids are like 9.80. So it's like a 20-cent spread. So when it comes to stuff like this, when the breakout isn't as strong, you generally want to go a little bit small size and not avoid it altogether, right? What we want to see is a breakout like this. Okay, so when the breakout happened over here, right, I was accumulating my position on this, stop loss was on 1050. And then now, listen, guys. Time factor is very important in trading, correct? Okay, timing is very important. This move happened at 6:52. Now, what is the next important timing, right? What is the next important timing for us to pay attention to in pre-market? Let's say after 4 a.m. What is the next important timing for us to pay attention to during pre-market? What do you guys think it is? It's 7, right? No, the next one, the next most important one, 7. Correct? So when 7 a.m. hit over here, okay, remember, you can see this is the 7:59 candle. Sorry, 6:59 candle. At 7, okay, two things is gonna happen. Either this price continues to pump up or price is gonna drop. And when price drops, right, honestly, there's no need for us to respect the 1050 stop loss anymore because 7 a.m. has decided to dump this, which means that something else is going to go, which is what we got PMN. Right, so that's why I was more green over here because when I saw this move on 7, I thought we are gonna go, but when I saw a long wick and then this thing lose on 1150, I closed out my position because there was a 7 a.m. dump. You know how I always tell you guys, right? When I give you guys the alert, sitting inside this, waiting for the 7 a.m. pop. But then I always say this: if the move happened before 7 o'clock, there's a higher chance of it dumping, right? Because people are going to be taking profits. So this 7 a.m. candle initially pumped it all the way to 12:30. But when there's such a heavy rejection, right? You see a long wick being created and you see heavy selling pressure, right? I just close out the rest of my position because 7 a.m. has dictated that this price is going to go down. That's why it was that's why Coco, that was a smaller green for me. Okay, all right. TJ, I'll respond to you in a bit at the end of the session. All right, so just stay to the end. So let me just finish my stuff over here first. Okay, but guys, so this is the 7 a.m. stuff over here, right? 7 a.m. when a play is running, only two things is gonna happen. One of them is going to be a move to the upside, right? And then the other one's gonna be a move to the downside. Yeah, no, yeah, right. One is gonna move to the upside. If not, it's gonna be the downside. If it's going to the downside at 7 a.m., then there's no need to respect any sort of plan. Just cut it. Okay, because it looked like we wanted to pump, right? But when there's such a heavy rejection like that, there's really no point in staying in it. The direction has been um determined, I would say. Yeah. Okay. So now the next play is going to be PMN. Now someone asked me this: why didn't you take PMN in the initial morning move? Now I have a very simple answer to that. I wasn't around. That's all. Right? I wasn't around. Pretty much all there is to it. Okay. I'm not in front of my computer 24/7. Okay, but there's a reason why I did not take it was just purely because I wasn't around. That's it. Right. So I had to look for some other alternatives, right? Some continuation moves over here. Okay, so now let's look at this. Now, PMN was a play that ran recently pretty hard, right? Last week, it was running on a $4 price target by H.C. Wainwright. It was a fairly new ticker. You can see that this price went from 42 cents all the way to 125. Now, this is the reason why 125 is a very big level, because that's the level where price hit it and rejected all the way down, right? So over here, 125 is big, right? That's what there is the reason why 125 is a very big level for me. And I wanted to see a pullback over here, right? Because it was running all the way from 42 cents to $1 already. Right. So that's close to 100+% move, right? And I wasn't really sure if this thing is actually going to continue holding on, right? But I would say that the fact that this ticker was holding on to the 20-minute trend line, right? And also my trend was currently sitting at VWAP, I would say. All right, sitting at VWAP. Where you can see the price every time it touches the white line, it bounces off. It gives me quite a bit of confidence, right? And I think there wasn't a whole lot of things moving this pre-market as well. And PMN also did have pretty good news over here. For those of you guys who don't know, the news on this was a fast track designation for PMN 310, which is the name of the drug in the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. Now, I'm not too invested or interested in the fast track designation, right? Because fast track designation news are generally not very good. Okay. But the thing this is about Alzheimer's. Right? And then Alzheimer's is a huge thing in the biotech sector, especially when it comes to trading small caps. Most of the time, right? Especially when healthcare stocks are in theme, Alzheimer's it's just a huge thing. It's like cancer, right? It's very, very huge. Right? Alzheimer's, cancer, all these are the small cap market regards them as very, very heavy, very important, right? And generally, there's going to be very, very nice flow. So, we did have a very nice trend on this, right? You can see that and a very nice uptrend forming now. And also, I was seeing price kind of based off this high lows level over here, right? So you can see that the previous highs now acting as lows, which I like it, right? I like that. So that's why my stop loss was under 95 cents. I use this $1. This so happens to be $1 as a psychological level, right? 95 cents was my stop loss because that's my VWAP. That's where the price is bouncing off from. So I was giving myself a bit of 5 cents buffer, right? And then my first level is going to be this breakout over here, which is where the price had struggled, had difficulty breaking out from. And we're also trending on the 21 EMA trend line, all right, for the most part. So I just needed to wait for this to break out. I took my profits over here at 122, took some, right? And then now we want to see this base at this 120 level, right? And at the same time, the 21 EMA trend line is at 109. So what do I always say? Write the trend, right? So we write the trend up, 130s, take my profits out, price went down, right? Held the 21 EMA trend line again, price went up to 160s, took my profits out, and then this time it was over. Now, the thing about this play over here is that we needed this to break the 160 to go, but unfortunately, AIRE, right, was also moving. It wasn't really happening in pre-market, but the pre-market rejection was, I would say, valid, because this thing has been running since 40 cents. Don't forget about that, right? So this over here was close to a 300% move already. Can you really say that's bad? No. Can you really blame it that it's going to make a pullback? No, right? Because it has already made a 300% move. Okay, but you guys can clearly see, right? This level, this daily level over here, right? This is something that is very strong, right? It's where price rejected really hard, right? Before, and then the price went all the way down. So you can see, we did not break out from the level today at all, not once. I thought we are going to make it over here, but again, what happened was that we kind of double top at 160 around there, and price went down. And one of the reasons could be because Open had so much volume, AIRE had so much volume as well, right? So it was very difficult for this to keep focus. Okay, but regardless, I think overall this was still a very, very great move. Yeah, all right. So so that was that. PMN, that was a great move over there. There was nothing else moving. Alzheimer's disease, fast track destination. 20 EMA trend line holding, with the high lows being formed at the $1 psychological level, right? And you can see the 20 EMA was good until it broke down, but hey, we have really achieved our levels, so that's great. All right, no trend's gonna hold forever, guys. All right, always remember that. Okay, so now SAPS. All right, so now for SAPS, okay, SAPS, right? Now this one might be a little bit quick. I know some of you guys got in at 4.2s. Some of you guys got in at 4.3s. That's fine, right? I was in at 4.17, right? I got in on this wick over here, by the way. So what I saw was the so look at this, right? So for me, 425 has always been a key level. All right, I know that, right? 425 has always been a key level, and my stop loss is going to be at the $4 because this is where, for the most part in pre-market, you see there is heavy amounts of rejection. Plus $4 is also a psychological level, right? So what we see over here is that price consolidated before into EOD, into market open, right? Respecting this 200 EMA over here as well, where price never really lost it today. And then we had a nice curl up and price reclaimed BU up. Now, if we look at everything that happened in market open, okay, again, having a watch this, which one has like the strength and whatnot, HSDT was done. Isn't it? Right? PMN was done. Right? What else is there? Well, honestly, what else was running in pre-market? What else was running in pre-market? I don't think that was a whole lot, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much it. So if you have 3 options going to open, guys, 2 of them die, and you see one clearly having strength. Does it make sense for you to not jump ship and jump into this? I mean, it makes sense, isn't it? No, I mean, you can't tell me DYNX, come on. Right? Was it doing anything in pre-market? I mean, in market open? Was it going up or down? You tell me, was PMN or market open going up or down? It was going down. Was DYNX going up or down? It was going down. Was HSDT going up or down? It was going down. So what's the only one that was actually trending up? It was SAPS. So at that point of time, what do you guys think is going to be the best option to trade? It was SAPS. Right? So 425 for me, and I mean, you can clearly see, right, as price reaches back into the zone, not saying that, you can always recycle the levels I give you guys, right? Structure is going to be different. If let's say this thing was going up above 425, but we also have 2 to 3 other tickers that's going up, I will have to wait and see how the price action reacts over here. So what I liked about this is that price went up, broke the 425, so I was monitoring the price action over here. Price went down, and then on the next candle, price tried to break out, but it went down, and then it formed a wick, and it price immediately pushed up. I got in over here at 4.17, right, on this wick over here, right? I got over here at 4.17. Okay, I know some of you guys got in at 4.25 as well. That's fine. It's pretty quick. But you see, this is quick, right? It's not like I'm telling you guys I'm in at 3.89, which is virtually impossible to get over here, right? And, well, I got it because of the momentum move, because of the confirmation that we have all the other pre-market runners dying, right? This is the only one that could potentially get the volume rotation. So I got it over here, and we immediately halted up, and we had a 6-6 move to 660. Insane. All right. And then, for those of you guys who missed out, hey, don't worry, right? Watch low 5 pullbacks. We stopped on the 510 and $5. Bouncing up to 550 and more. Now, when you guys look at something like this, when I tell you guys look for low 5x pullback, look for a bounce up to 550 and more. Does it make sense for you guys to be buying at 549? Does it? Does it make sense? Does it make sense for you guys to be buying at 549 for a move to 550? It doesn't. It clearly doesn't, isn't it? Right? It clearly doesn't. Okay. So over here, all right, price went all the way down to 550. Now we don't really consider this part. Price went all the way down to 520s. Now, stop loss was what? Under 510, $5. Anyone of you guys over here tell me that 525 is not low 5xx? Is this considered low fives over here? Yes or no? Is this considered low fives over here? It is. Considering the fact that your target is 550 and your stop loss is 510, 520 was perfect, right? I mean, 520s was perfect, right? 5-3x is fine too because it's, you know, what it is. It's low, what? It's low fives, right? It's anything under 550. But since 550 is going to be your first target, then, you know, or rather around there, then, you know, you want to get it to maximize that risk reward. You want to get it as close to fives as possible. But you have to understand that sometimes you might not get that, right? Sometimes price might hit 530s and go all the way up, which is why you gotta have a range, right? Don't be so rigid about where you want to add, which is why I give you guys a range to play, right? 5xx. Did I say specifically what? No, because there is range for this. So 5xx, right? Low 5xx, take it. Price retrace all the way back up to 635. All right. Unfortunately, over here, we just couldn't break out from it. All right. There was a heavy rejection over here. And you know, you can see this is the area where a lot of rejections are happening, right? And we just couldn't go. So, you know, it is what it is, right? But I would say that at the end of the day, this is still a pretty good move, right? And I wasn't really too mad about this ticker not making moves because, you know, the news over here wasn't really the greatest, right? And I think the level that we were kind of rejecting was also a very big, it was this one over here, right? You can see this weekly price action separation on this is pretty massive, I would say. You see that, right? I think that was exactly where the price kind of rejected a little bit. Couldn't really break out from. You can see that, yeah. So it's the same thing, right? Price underneath this line more than likely rejects down. Price above this line more than likely bounces off. Right, since we're underneath this line became our resistance, and we tapped that 1, 2, 3, 4. Couldn't make it anymore. Price went all the way down. All right, it's just levels. Okay. Right now, if we don't flush down so hard, right, and touches this 21 EMA trend line and go back up, I would say we might have a chance, but price completely lost trend over here. So it is what it is. Time to move on. Close over position, stay green, time to move on. All right. Okay, so all right, let's talk about PMN. Now, PMN for me, I would say I got jittered, right? I mean, I had some jitters and stuff. Again, I'm only human. I mean, I would say this is bad execution over here on my part. So I kind of closed it off before the move actually happened, right? I see. I noticed a very nice double bottom over here, right? Into this break off the neckline, and you know, it was also a little bit of a downtrend breakout over here. See that? All right. Now, this is the reason why I want to take it again, okay? But over here, we retested the downtrend and then price went down. And, you know, I thought it was weak, so I closed it off. I shouldn't have, right? At the end of the day, you guys can always remember that when we trade a setup, okay, it's always very important for you guys to review, learn from your mistakes so you guys can avoid it the next day, because every single day we are trading. So yeah, very important for these reviews on the trades that you take, right? So let me show you guys something, right? So I got out over here. Honestly, for me, this is like break even, right? A 3 cents risk. I'm not really too I wasn't really I mean it's 1.13, 1.10. It's not like we didn't make any big moves on PMN. We did, right? So to me, this was not even just this was like negligible. This is close to nothing. Okay, so but I got up. All right, I shouldn't have. Okay, it was a bad execution on my part. Now looking back, you can see that we have a double bottom over here, right? And this is also, you can call it a cup and handle. You see, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have got out. I really shouldn't have. All right, I should have just respected the entire plan, right? If not, I should have maybe raised my stop loss instead of 95 cents, right? But I just want to keep it really tight, okay? But I shouldn't have, right? Sometimes you can see if you keep your stop loss tight, if you don't respect your stop loss based on the chart, right? You base it based on your emotions, which I did. Okay, you are going to be missing out the move, right? We take UAVS for example last week as well. Remember the play, the only play I gave you guys in pre-market, right? It was struggling at this 1.94 for the longest time, right? But the thing is, we did not break trend. So, we were literally stuck in this trade for like 20 minutes before, and nothing actually happened. But trend never broke down. I stood my ground, right? Price was, on this very, very beautiful uptrend regardless, okay? And price went up. And you see the patience paid, right? And for me, PMN, because I was already green on this, right? I guess my emotions did came up a little bit and shouldn't have, guys. That was bad, right? That was bad of me. All right. Sometimes things for you guys to learn this from. And always remember, it's very interesting for me, right? I still make mistakes too. So for those of you guys who are new, okay, it's You shouldn't be too hard on yourself if you make those mistakes, right? What you gotta do is really just review them and improve from them. That's all. Right? Just make sure you don't repeat them in the near future. In the far future, maybe, all right? We do need a reset sometimes. But in the near future, you know that you just made this mistake today. Don't do it again tomorrow. You know? Just how it is. Because we are going to trade tomorrow again. Right, so we have a cup and handle set up over here, and then price book downtrend. Now this is where I got in again, right? Tricked me at 1028. So right at this candle over here, all right, I got in at 118. I was typing the whole shit out, right? And then we had all the nice move to 150s, but we just couldn't break new highs because at the point of time, AIRE was also moving. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So paper cut on that, re-entries, perfect. But ARA was moving, so I couldn't be too greedy on this. Okay, all right, so it was good. Yeah, open was the omen setup. Now, guys, look, let me talk about open over here. So, by the way, I did not trade AIRE, right? I wanted this to drop down 3 cents before I take my entries. Never did, and it went on. It went off without me. You know, so you see, I saw it over here, right? I wanted this to drop back down to 38s, 39s for entries. Never happened. Prices went all the way to fucking 78 cents. All right. And even over here, bro, it went to 98 cents. Okay. So sometimes, see, if you're being too greedy about your entries, all right, you're going to miss the move. All right. You will miss the move. You have to remember that price. I mean, this is not a situation or stock that's not going to be like, oh, okay, you know, I want to be, PBT wants to add over here. Let me drop it down for him to load up and let the rest of the team load up first before the price goes up. I mean, it's not going to happen like that, right? If I were to alert that I would take my entries at 40 cents, okay? There is only a limited amount of sellers selling shares at 40 cents. Make sense? I mean, think of it as an auction house, right? If there's only 100,000 shares being sold at 40 cents, okay, so that means, you know, there are sellers, there's someone selling at 40 cents. So me as a buyer, right, I can interact with the seller and buy shares at 40 cents. But if all 100,000 of these 40 cents are being sold, how can anyone, right, get the 40 cents? There's going to be the next seller coming in, which is a bit of a higher price. You understand? Right? It's like an auction house. How can everyone get the same amount? How can everyone get the same thing? It's not possible. Right? So this is also one of the other reasons why copy trading is bullshit. Because if I have a system where 20,000 people are copying me, yo, how are you guys gonna get the same entries as I do? It's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's the reason. So I was greedy, right? I did not take my entries. AK price went up ahead without me, but it's fine. All right, I don't chase it. It's cool because my focus was PMN. I had my own trade set up. I focused on what I was good at. I focused on what I was comfortable with, and it paid off too. Not as great as what ARE did, but is that our job as a trader? No. All right, our job as a trader is truly just to focus on your setups and make money. That's it. You don't need 200% moves to make money, like I said, all the time. Okay? Yeah, but my man, it would have been a great one. I mean, I had my eyes on this. Fucking 3 cents for that, and then I missed a 30 cents move, so you know, fuck me. That's cool. It's alright. So now we talk about open, right? So this to me is omen setup. Why? Because this is a very heavy flow. Right? This is a very, very heavy flow. Okay, so now listen, why did this happen over here? It's not like there was an offering. Okay, there was no offering over here, but I mean, this was a very good old grinder setup for us, right? But there was no offering over here. But why did this happen? Now, first up, people see this over here, they think that, you know, this is bad. Well, to be honest, I think this is part of the whatever it has been doing. Right? I think this is completely normal. If we look at this on the daily chart, this is way due for a pullback. Price literally went from 50 cents, right, to 497. Do you see any significant pullback? Probably only over here. But this is only like what, 193 to 160, a 30 cents pullback. What is it? It's nothing. And the next day, this thing went from 186 to 224. And then today, price went so high. Right? We almost hit that $5 psychological level too, 3 cents away. So a pullback is definitely very needed, right? Because this thing did make a 600% move so far. Plus, this is a very heavy float, right? It's 400 million or 600 million, I think. Right, it's big as shit. I tell you guys that it's big as shit. 600 million. So remember we talk about float during the weekends, right? And I told you guys that, try to replace the M as kilogram or pounds. Now, do you guys think 600 kilograms is heavy? Can you lift it on your own? Can you? You can't, right? 600 pounds. Can you lift it on your own? You can't. It's impossible because that shit heavy as hell, right? You compare it to, but you see, being such a heavy float means that the price shouldn't be moving like that, right? It should not be moving like that unless there is heavy amounts of volume. All right, there's heavy amounts of volume, which is what this ticker had today. 1.8 billion shares. You guys know how much money that is over here? That's a billion amount of money flow inside this ticker today. But because it's so heavy, right? This is not sustainable. I mean, come on. We're not gonna have 1.8 billion shares being traded every single day. That's not sustainable at all. Look at this. Right? That is not sustainable at all. Right? And that's the reason why when something is not sustainable, when it crashes hard. You think about how you guys if let's say you guys work from Monday to Sunday, right? You guys work 23 hours and you guys sleep for 1 hour from Monday to Sunday. Is that sustainable? It's not. When you start to crash, you're gonna crash really hard. It's the same thing, right? This move over here is not sustainable. So when it crashes, it's gonna crash hard. Because again, it's not sustainable. It's just a heavy floater. It made crazy moves. It was nice, but again, it's just not sustainable. You know yourself, all right? Any one of you guys over here can work 23 hours for 7 days a week with 1 hour of sleep. Can any one of you guys do that? And let's just say if you guys did it, okay, when you guys lie on the bed, you guys are just gonna knock out straight away, right? Because it's not sustainable. That's it. That's why. But do I think it's done? No, right? Because maybe this is just like a reset, of the momentum, right? Let it rest a little bit, right? And because I think the meme factor over here is still here. It's not gone. It's not gonna be gone. This people have been talking this shit up for weeks now. So do I think this is done? Probably not, right? They do have earnings coming up on the 5th of August. And a lot of people are comparing this to Carvana, right? And Carvana is one ticker. I mean, this is truly a huge comeback story, right? When I knew about Carvana, okay, this was a ticker that was on the verge of bankruptcy. All right. Let me show you guys. Price went from 376 all the way to 355. That's nasty, isn't it? In the span of a year. All right, in the span of a year, all right, a year plus, it went from 376 to 355. Look at this comeback story over here. Insane. And a lot of people are comparing this open to something similar. So what really changed Carvana around is the fact that one of their earnings reported really good numbers. And also because Carvana was at that point of time was one of a short, pretty high short float, right? One of the squeeze and meme ticker. It was not. It was a lot higher before. Like it wasn't 9.8, right? So that's why you kind of continue as well. But people were saying that, oh, this is gonna be Carvana, but you also have to understand, man, right? Carvana didn't go from $3 to $300 in one day. It took them from the start of 2023 to right now, the mid of 2025. That's like 2 years plus. Because do you think it's again sustainable for a price to go from $300 to $3 to 300 in 2 days? It's not gonna happen. It's not. But hey, if we can find open, right, bottoms or something, whatever, and then this thing starts going up, right? Maybe it goes all the way to 5, or it comes down to like 4, and then it pulls back to 4 plus to reset. Sitting in the low entries, we're chill. We can really just literally wait and see how this thing plays out, right? I don't even mind, man. If I hold like 1,000 runners on this, or maybe even $100 runners on this, in 2 years' time, this thing goes to $300+. I mean, why the fuck not? Because people are saying this might be the same thing. I haven't really done any sort of fundamental research on this, right? Because again, I treat this as a trade, but knowing that there's rumors on this, I will definitely keep my eyes on this for the next few days, right? I don't think it's done. Okay, especially when they're earning. If this earnings is going to report good numbers, right? Great guidance. I can tell you that, guys, this is going to go up again, right? Look, Carvana did not make a move from $3 to 300 in one day. It took them 2.5 years. Right. But if I can be a part of the move like Open did, right, going from 8 to 40s in just a couple of months, why the fuck not? Right, ride it. I mean, for me, I will still trade within the, from 8 to 10 plus, I'll still take it. But if I have 20% left, this thing close strong, I'll set my stop loss for my entry, I'll let it ride. It's the same thing as ISXL, right? I did not update about this, but for those guys who are in here, you guys should know. I gave this alert at 30s last week, right? At the over here on this flag breakout, I gave my entries at 30s. We had a minus move to 47. I told you guys to have stop loss on the 30 cents. Did we lose it? Right? Did we lose it? We never did. So I was only like left for 15% and stuff. My stop loss is in my entry. But I don't care too much about this. Why? Because I was focused on finding new setups for you guys. And you see, eventually this needs to pay it off. I come back to it. It's like, oh shit, I still have shares over here, right? Let me just, So that's what I'm trying to see what we can do for Open. All right, I don't think it's done. Probably needs to relax a little bit. But let's see how it goes for the next few days. Yeah. All right. So let's see what else. So I think that's pretty much it, right? There wasn't a whole lot. After that, Open was the only. I mean, Open had so much. Open had so much movement, right? Open has so much movement, so much volume. I mean, come on, guys, 1.8 billion shares. AIRE made the move instead. Right now, I could have traded AIRE. To be honest, I could have traded this, right? I wanted to alert this on the 70 cents breakout, and we should have paid pretty well. This is a gap fill that we have for the daily chart. But for me, I was kind of chilled. The targets were really met for the day. I didn't want you guys to overtrade, so I just like forget about it. And in the end, it did actually go, which I was like, oh fuck. But it's cool, right? Right? You guys gotta understand. You don't have to trade every single thing that moves. All right, that's insanity. That's addiction. Okay, that's not good. All right. Okay, so this is pretty simple day. Nothing too complicated. Very great start. Nice and slow, but great start to the week. All right, and from today, I think we can still clearly see that the market's not slowing down any type, any form or anything. I mean, you tell me a 600 million floater having 1.8 billion shares, the market is definitely not slowing down. I think OPAT was also kind of mirroring this open door move for some reason. I don't know why, but you can see it was mirroring the exact same shit. Look at the difference, right? Price went all the way to 495, flushed down, halted down even. Price went all the way to 497, halted down. You see, wow. I don't even know why OPAT was falling open. Like, it's fucking different shit. It's different tickers. Are they the same? Maybe they're the same. I don't know. Maybe they're the same. Maybe they're somewhat related, right? It has to be. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, but it was strange. It was strange as hell. Okay, all right. So, any questions, guys? All right, let me go through the thing. So TJ asks, how do we get in before the price moves that high? TJ. So your question is, how do we get in to HSDT? So you're trying to ask, your question is, how do we get in HSDT at 883? Correct? Is that what you're asking? How do we get in at 883? Is that what you're asking? It's impossible. It's impossible unless you added the day before. It's impossible for you to have your entries over here. By the time you guys see it on the new scanner, the price is probably going to be at 12 plus already. It's impossible to get it over here. Unless, again, you added it the day before. But TJ, would you know that HSDT was going to do this? Would you know that HSDT was going to make this move over here? Yeah. So why would you add the day before? If so, then let me ask you, right? If for those guys who say, if you guys say then what is going to run tomorrow? What is going to drop news tomorrow that's going to make a move like that? Let's front load this together. Right? It's impossible. That's why you gotta wait. You could play news pop, right? It moves very quickly. You should check how price usually reacts to news pops, especially for low floaters. I can tell you it's not sustainable, and you cannot catch it. All right, don't bother trying. All right, it's not going. You will not be able to catch these 880s. By the time you see it over here, it's gonna be 12 plus, 11 plus. Yeah. All All right, so don't bother about trying to catch that stuff. Right? I've wondered this before, but when I realized this is how news files actually are, it's impossible. Right? The only way you're gonna get in over here is if you added the day before. So maybe this was gonna drop news, so you added the day before. Then then you will be in for sure. But on the day itself, when you see it move, you cannot get in an A plus. It's impossible. Right? So you see Coco. Coco first saw the news. She added it. He added it. It was really 12 plus. You cannot get A plus. It's impossible. So don't try to stress. Don't worry about it. All right? It's impossible. Yeah, no, the IRA, I was just a little bit too greedy with my entries, right? But the second one, I could have alerted 70 cents, but I was just, we did it today. Let's not overtrade. Given we did not see the lower 3.xx dip as you suggested, should we have entered when the price was bouncing off 21.50 EMA? There was really no trend to indicate that, to be honest, right? I mean, the trend, you can see the trend wasn't really, probably not. I would say probably not. Probably not. It's better to avoid it. I mean, it wasn't really making such a big move over here. There was no clear trend. Probably on the 5 minute, you can probably see some 21 EMA trend or something. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that? Right, that was a trend until it broke down. Yeah. Yeah, the 5 minute, yeah. I mean, if you see a trend, right, you see it bouncing off like that, take it at 393 and have a stop loss on the 380. Right, the trend. When you see the 1 minute is very choppy, right? You see no clear definitive trend. You see the price is just up and down the EMAs and stuff. Open up your time frame. All right, use the 5 minute. It should give you a much more clearer picture on the situation. Well, it seems like it's a pretty slow after hours too, huh? I don't see too much going on. No? Oh no, I don't think it's done, like I said, but let's see what happens. Yeah, if there's nothing if after hours, then I'll see you guys tomorrow then. So every single day is chill. I don't have to stress over, stuff you cannot control, like I always say. All right, all right. So anything else? Nothing? Okay. All right. So good night, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Great start to the week. And also, I was already done for the day even before the market opened, by the way. Like over here, I was done for the day already. It's no need for us to chase all this over here. Nah, I don't think so. I don't see anything. I think it's very, very dead. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It was pretty tight, right? No? It wasn't even a 10-cent risk. I mean, it was close to around 10-cent risk for me. But I was done. I was really done because I was risking, what, and we got like more than a 1 to 1 to we got like 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, 1 to 3 trade over here, risk reward. I was already done. That's great. My daily goal is $500. It's not 5,000. How much is good enough for me? So I don't put too much stress on myself. All right, it's easily attainable. Yeah, nah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's no stress, right? It's the whole point. I'm not trying to compete with anyone. Yeah. Okay. All right. If not, enjoy the rest of the day, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers. Any reentry for IC? Nope, not for now.